Welcome to Overwhelmed to Overcomer podcast with coach, encourager, and strategist Anna McLaughlin. If you're a Christian woman who has big dreams rooted in an even bigger God, but most days those dreams feel completely out of reach, trust me, I get it. As a homeschooling mama of 4, entrepreneur, investor, and all around wearer of many hats, I am right there with you. And yet the Lord invites us to live out our God-given purpose now in the midst of the madness. So let's explore together how we can know our calling and walk in it today with clarity, with courage, with each other. It's time for you to live the life you love and love the life you live. Let's do this thing.
Hey friend, we're going to try something a little different today. You may or may not know I've been doing accountability coaching for about a year, and one of the things that's our daily practice, it's daily coaching Monday through Friday, is to visualize a gift. That gift that the Lord is inviting us into. It's not a Christian coaching company, but that's what we're doing in here. To see a gift that we feel the Lord calling us into. There's a beautiful book I read recently called Stepping Heavenward. It is by Mrs. Elizabeth Prentice. I think it's Elizabeth is her name. Mrs. E. Prentice. And it says this. So she's talking about being distracted as she prays. And this book is a memoir from age about 15 or 16 through to what might have been the end of her life. It kind of ends where you're not quite sure whether she's just no longer going to write in the book or if she actually might die of this illness she has in her 50s or 60s. And she talks about, my mind was somewhat distracted with these cares, and I found it a little difficult to keep on with my morning devotions in spite of them. But I have learned at least to face and fight such distractions instead of running away from them as I used to do. My faith in prayer and resort to it become more and more the foundation of my life. This is the moment. And I believe, with one wiser and better than myself, Christ, that nothing but prayer stands between my soul and the best gifts of God. In other words, that I can and shall get what I ask for. So what I want to invite you to do right now is just to get quiet. And I want to invite you to draw into your mind's eye a gift that you feel the Lord inviting you into. Something that you feel Him calling you to, saying, this is what I've made you for. Might be something at home, might be with your family, with your husband, with your children, might be in your homeschool journey, in your vocation. It might be this deeper purpose. We talk a lot in here about purpose. You were made to do a thing. And I think somehow we've gotten this lie locked in as believers where we start to think, oh, it's indulgent to want something. It's indulgent to have these goals and dreams and visions. And we start to kind of tuck them in boxes, say, well, if He wanted me to have it, he'd give it to me. But one of the things that my coach has been talking to me about, he says, so often the reason that we don't get what we really want is because we're focused so much on what we don't want. These petty cares, these grievances, these frustrations. And when we look at these things of like, why is my child struggling? Why haven't they learned how to read? Why haven't they gotten this character issue worked through? Why is my marriage the way that it is? What are we doing? We're magnifying what we don't want instead of laying it down and going, it is what it is right now. I can still be faithful here. So draw that thing into your mind's eye. That dream, maybe it was something you wanted as a child. Maybe it was something that for as long as you can remember, you've said, oh, if I could do anything in the world, it would be this. I want you to draw it into your mind's eye, and I want you to just hold it before the Father. Say, this represents what I feel I was created for. This represents all that I've seen you give me over the years. My loves, my passions, my joys, even the heartbreaks. Just keep coming back to this spot. It's okay if it's hazy. If you're tempted to go, well, I don't have anything in mind, so I'll just switch to the next episode. Stay here. Just stay in this place and see what the Lord brings to mind. And I want you to, for a moment, ask the Lord, what are the things I think I need in order to be able to really operate in this space? I need more training. I need a degree. I need a certification. I need more time. I need the kids to be older. Whatever those things are, I need to grow more. I need to buy a course. I need to buy a training. I need to get healthier in this way. Whatever it is, like the big long list. Why do you think I can rattle these off so well? I know this space, friend. I know it. I want you to view them like supports. The dream sits on a platform. And you've got all these different things that you think you need to hold up the dream. And I want you to take a deep breath in through the nose and let it go through the mouth. Continue to do that. And as you do, I want you to allow those supports to fall away. One by one, the towers fall. One by one, you see they are not what is holding up your dream. And I want you to see each in its time falling away and notice which ones are the hardest to let go of. What is it that you have the hardest time imagining you don't really need to pursue this thing? Now see, the platform looks as if it's floating in air. And I want you to notice your dream is not on a platform. It is being held in the hand of God. All you need is Him. This is a lesson that I'm kind of, in some ways, I'm like, am I finally learning this? It was a lesson I didn't know I needed. See, when I was growing up, you kind of bought your education. How good of a school can I go to? How well regarded of a degree can I get? That was kind of the waters I swam in. And took it as far as graduate school. I got a law degree. Okay, now I can practice law because I got a law degree. Guess what? Somebody knows it more than I do. Always. And I'll never forget, one of the lawyers I worked with said, there's a reason they call it a practice, Anna. There's a reason they call it a practice. Because you practice. You get better and better. You grow more and more. You just become. There was a time, as a little aside, just to kind of paint this picture a little more clearly, where there was no law school. Maybe you went to college, but you mostly learned your craft by apprenticing. And then in time, the powers that be figured out, hey, if we can package this thing up and sell it, we'll actually make some money on it. And then the government was like, hey, if we loan money out, we actually make some money on it. The next thing you know, the cost of education is what it is. And I'm not saying you might not be, you might be hard pressed to get some jobs if you don't have some letters after your name. You might be. But so too, it may be that everything you love about the degree that you think you need, you can become in a different way. So for me, we spent a lot of money early on in our marriage, up until pretty recently, on courses and health products. And what I'm realizing recently, friend, and that's why I want to share it with you, because it's been so freeing. What I need is Him. He qualifies me. He qualifies you. He has been training and honing and refining and leading and guiding and shaping and encouraging you for this moment. What if you don't need anything else? We'd reached a point in our family where a significant chunk of our budget, month to month, went to training, went to therapies, and it went to like supplements, like health stuff. And my husband would say, what's all this stuff for? It just like shows up. The box just lands on the stoop and there's another $200 out the door. I was like, oh, we need this for this and that for that and that for that. I was always chasing solutions to the problem. Do you know what happened, friend? There came a point. You've heard a little bit if you've been listening to prior episodes. There was a pretty big stripping away for me earlier this year. And all of a sudden I was like, I don't need any of this stuff. This isn't what holds me. And I just went to this place of what if? What if I just for fun, just canceled the subscriptions? What if I just stopped taking the courses? What if maybe, just maybe, we don't need to be driving all over Tarnation for all these therapies? And I just let it all rest. And we've actually done this in some seasons, but this was kind of next level. But every season that we've done it, it's been so powerful just to be for a minute. Okay. And this kind of, I view this episode in partnership of the last solo episode that I did. I Have Nothing to Offer You, is what it was called. Not only do I have nothing to offer you, but there's nothing that you need. There is nothing that you need outside of him. And that doesn't mean that he's not going to take you a lot of different places and say, hey, now this, now this, now this. But let's be mindful that we not view those things as the supports that are holding us up. I can't tell you how many things that I bought where I was like, once I go through this training, I'm good. Guess what happened? If you're like me, you might know the punchline here. Went through the training or halfway went through it, still stuck. Why? Because I didn't need another answer. I just needed more courage. I just needed more peace with the Father. Needed more belonging. Needed a deeper sense of stewardship. Maybe it wasn't even time yet. What if it's just time to be with the Father? There's this beautiful picture he gave me at one point where I was like trying to figure out, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do in our marriage? What do we do with this child that needs some support? What do I do with my own like grieving when my dad had died? What do I do? And he said, stop. Stop, Anna, stop. All right, friend, stop. Sit before the Father. And he said this, which, he said it to me first. So if this is offensive, you can just let it be mine. He said, wait till the lead rope gets taut. In other words, I'm the donkey. Waiting to, or elephant. You can have a more charming picture of what animal you were, but a donkey kind of resonated with me in that season of my life. Wait, sit at the Father's feet, and don't move until the lead rope gets taut. In other words, he's moving out first. I in that same season, I kind of pictured his covering like an umbrella. And here I was trying to figure out, where's the umbrella going so I can stay under it. What happens when we try to act that way? You just end up wet. Because how can we know? How can we know? Think about the tabernacle and the fire. Okay, so the Israelites, when they're in the desert, they're being led out to their next stop with a pillar of smoke or clouds by day and a pillar of fire by night. How do they know when it's time to go? When it moves. That's it. They stayed some places for days, some places for weeks. And meanwhile, if you didn't know this, the whole trip could have taken about 40 days. But they were there for 40 years. Why? Because the lesson wasn't done yet. Right? There might be some stuff that needs to die. Because, of course, what happened in the natural in the Old Testament, we now know it in the spiritual. In the natural, the people needed to die. In the spiritual now, where we live, our person needs to die sometimes. That old man, that old woman, the flesh starts to rear its head and go, I need. All right, it's so hungry. It's always hungry for more. It thinks it's not okay. You're okay. You have everything you need right now to be faithful right here. And I'm going to tell you, it may be hard as hang. It really might right now. It might be just one of those seasons where you're just like white knuckling. Are we going to make it? You will. You will. And as my coach told me when I was going through such a hard season at the beginning of this year, he said, there will be a time, Anna, where you will look back and laugh at this. Be so grateful for the gift. I was like, yeah, sure. But I knew, because I've been around the block enough, that he was exactly right. What you're going through now is the gift you needed. Because it's not about this life. It's just really not. It's not about us. It's about him. What is the chief end of man? What is our purpose? Why are we here? Why are you here? Your chief end is to glorify God and to enjoy him forever. Enjoy him. I'm bringing it back. Here we are at Say Anything again, walking around feeling satisfied. Can you imagine that? If you don't know, one of the best 80s movies of all time, not for children, FYI. Say Anything, John Cusack, Ione Skye, I think is her name. He's talking about his girl. But of course, we know who he's really talking about. Ultimately, who all of us are really talking about. If we're satisfied, that's the Father. That's the only thing that truly satisfies is him. And he says, walking around feeling satisfied. Can you imagine that? Then she cuts me loose. And he goes on, and he's talking to his dude friends. Like, they're not really friends, but, the dudes he hung out with. They're at a gas and sip, which I guess they're just, it's a gas station. I don't know. They're at a gas and sip at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And, oh, it's just the best scene. You'll have to look it up on YouTube. It's there. It's there. Say Anything, gas and sip, guys conversation. But that word, that phrase, I just will never forget it all my days. Walking around feeling satisfied. It's the Father who does that. Only him. So I just want to invite you to go back to our visualization from earlier. What are those things that you really feel are needed to uphold your purpose? What feels essential in this season? I want to just invite you to remember that picture. You see your dream supported and held. And you realize as you look more closely, it's the Father who's doing it. And as he does, as he holds this dream, as he holds you, the things of earth grow strangely dim. The supports, they just fall away. What is it time to let go of? What is it time to lay down and go, maybe we don't need it? And just as a practical step, one thing that's been really helpful for me is to notice it's often the thing where I'm having a hard time finding peace or unity about. So if my husband and I are out of order on something where he's like, why are we spending all this money? I feel like we're running around all the time. My response for years was like, come on, dude, get it together. We got to do this stuff. We got to fix the thing. What am I doing? I'm staring at what's broken instead of going, I can be faithful here. We can love him here. This is our portion today. Okay. Lord, help me bear it well. Help me accept this all the way through. Because you know what we do? We miss the mark when we're so focused on fixing what we've been given. And this is a hard one. There were long seasons where I viewed the challenges my children were having as problems to fix. And guess what those sweet little kiddos can start to feel like by extension? I remember one of my kids asking, what's wrong with me? Oh, what's wrong with me? It took me a while before I could say nothing. Nothing. You are directly in the Father's care. You are right where you need to be. By his sovereign plan, this is where he has you, and we are going to be, man, like we're going to be faithful here. We're going to love here. We're going to serve here. We're going to live here. We're going to have joy and peace and love and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness and self-control. We're going to have it all right here. Nothing's wrong. What if there was nothing to fix? What if this is everything? Anybody else has kiddos out there who have a little bit of extra to navigate? What if this is everything that she needs or he needs as their portion to honor the Lord in their adulthood? What if this is it? What if this is exactly what the good Father ordered? And here we are, what's the phrase? Kicking against the goads. We're basically like kicking concrete. We're whacking against a wall made out of brick, right? Insisting that it look different. Why? Because we don't like it. It's heartbreaking, it's hard, it's frustrating, it's disruptive. What if this is exactly where he wants you right now? And you know what's wild? One of the most powerful ways through is acceptance, where we go, okay, I'm going to love you here. I'm going to trust that this path, branches and thorns and brambles and all the things that I wish it wasn't, this path is exactly what is needed for me to glorify you and enjoy you forever most effectively. Because ultimately, what does Paul talk about? These light and momentary troubles, it's a breath. It's like that line in Usual Suspects where he's like, he's gone. It's gone. It's gone. This is so short. Oh man, and there are some days where we just feel like, I can't live with this pain forever. It's not though. I was talking to a friend recently where I was like, what's the worst thing? So you gotta wait a decade or so. It's not fun. It's the last thing we want. Even our deepest losses, 70 years or so, it's over. Then we're in glory. What do we care? What happened in this life? Leave it to me. Always end up on the serious side of things. But friend, you don't need anything but him. Go and do the thing. Love the people, serve the people. Recognize that wherever you are, that's just right where he has you right now. What's the time to lay down? Go back to that visualization. Just see it slip through your fingers. See his hand lift up your purpose, your dreams, and those supports that you thought were so necessary just fall away. Right? It's nothing. You have everything you need. Okay? So, what's the time to lay down? What's the time to cancel? I'm going to tell you, and this is just a silly little thing. It has been such a joy. I decided recently, because we were like, the best way to save money is to treat it like it's kind of precious, right? It's valuable. When it comes in, we make sure we know where it's going. That's just part of stewardship. And so I all the way down to the studs. I just got in our numbers and was like, what are we spending money on? There's this Rocket Money commercial that's all about how many. It's kind of a terrible commercial because the wife's being super snarky to her husband, where she's like, yeah, obviously you should have known this, but he's guessing how many subscriptions they have, and he's completely wrong. He thinks he's got like 2 or 3. He's got 20. I went through and I canceled all the ones we didn't need. And my husband was like, I'm going to turn Netflix back on in like a week. I was like, that's okay. I didn't think we needed it. That's fine. Turn it back on. I don't care. But we're going to manage the thing. We're going to know. We're going to know what we got. And we're going to treat our dollars as precious because he gave them to us. We're going to treat our children as precious because he gave them to us. We're going to treat our home as precious because he gave it to us. And we're going to recognize I have everything I need already. These extra things are great. But if they're stealing peace or joy or they're causing conflict, you don't need them. Let it go. Okay? So, last solo episode, we talked about not needing to offer anything, just being. Now, what if we don't need to have anything either? We have all that we need already at the hand of the Father. He'll lead and guide us. I have a feeling we're still going to eat dinner. I have a feeling we're still going to Put gas in the car and go places, pay for things, but just watch. Is this becoming one of those things I think I have to have? Because ultimately, we don't need it. Go and serve and love the people now, right where you are. Okay? All right. That's what I know today, friend. I want to hear from you. What did you see in the palm of his hand? What is that thing that he's inviting you into? And if you're not sure, I'm kind of working on something. Am I going to tell you now? I'm not going to tell you now. I'll tell you the next time we're together. Kind of working on something. I would be honored to help you come to know more deeply, more fully. You don't need this. You don't. He can lead you all kinds of ways. But if you're like, yeah, I'm ready, this would be fun. Watch where the fruits of the Spirit lead you, right? Where's love? Where's joy? Where's peace? Where's patience? Where's kindness? Where's goodness? Where's faithfulness? Where's gentleness? Where's self-control? Thought I could rattle those off faster than I could. We fumbled through. Where are all those things? Because that's where he is. Then go and be there. All right, friend, I've got a kiddo at the door. It's time to roll on out here. I know you've got plenty to chew on and sit before the Father with. So reach out. Tell me, what did you see held in his hand? Carry that picture with you. And know that is always true now more than ever. You've got this because he's got you. Till next time.
Friend, thank you so much for listening to this most recent episode of Overwhelmed to Overcomer. So listen, the whole idea behind this mission is that when we endeavor to be brave with our lives, we need to do it together. Belonging is key. So if you resonated with the message from this episode, share it with a friend. Do it together. Thank you again, and never forget, you've got this because he's got you.